Hi, here we are, and you are?
I'm John from GeeknSon.
And what geeky things do you make for geeky gamers?
So we concentrate on making the gaming experience a little more comfortable and a little bit more practical. So we start with the gaming tables that allow you to have a dining room table and a game table in one. You're able to pause the game, put the top back on the table, have your dinner, whatever it is that you're doing at your dining room table, and then when you finish that, top comes back off, carry on gaming.
And I know you have lots of different design ideas and different layers and things that you can obviously lift up and take down and sort of move things around. What would you say is the thing you're most proud of or happy? Is it just the putting the table back on top, or is there a particular thing that's like a feature you really enjoy?
When you talk from a practical side of view and you say that design is beautiful, and being able to put the table back together as a table very quickly, very easy, great. My personal is the fact that it's a table with lights. And now this year, a table with speakers and lights.
Well, for me, I really like the divider, so dice don't run underneath, or you lose pieces. You just put it in, and obviously it stops everything, and it makes it an actual space rather than you go, oh, we've lost all the dice. Okay, what have you got coming up in the next year?
Okay, so last year we came with just a table and maybe a few other little bits. This year we've got coffee tables, furniture. I.e. sofas, sofa storage. We've got tables that are introduced for people who are maybe a bit more on a budget. So some of the tables can get up in price, but we've got some of the more basic tables who, again, have still been designed in the same way. The effort is still the same, but it's a bit more practical on a budget side.
Is there a waiting list for your table? Like, what's your average turnaround time?
On average, we look at around about 3 months. We can get them in before that, but we always like to say, to be on the safe side, 3 months, because each table is made for you as a customer. So you're telling us how you want the table, how high you want the table, you're telling us the colour, you're saying if there's any features that you want the table to have that maybe we need to think about. Reinforced chairs, for example, we can do that, that's not a problem, and that's it. That's why the lead time is around about 3 months.
Okay, last question. If your company was a mythological creature, what would it be?
We are probably going to be a wise old dragon who can sit all day and think about what it needs to do and how to do it, and then very quickly can just get on and do it.
I like it. It's a very good answer. It's a pleasure meeting you. Thank you very much. Brilliant. Bye. Hi, and you are?
I'm Nick.
And I'm Ali.
And you?
We are from Big Punch Studios.
Big Punch Studios.
Okay. What geeky games do you make for geeky gamers?
We make Sandwich Masters, which is a competitive sandwich making game where all the players compete to make sandwiches. So you have ingredients in your hand and you try and complete orders that appear in front of you. But the catch is some ingredients are good, like cheese and ham, but then there's bad equivalents of those, like barbed wire ham or dictator cheese. You can use those and the customer won't care. They'll still pay you the money and you'll still get the money for the sandwich. But if a health inspector shows up, you're in big trouble. And that's essentially the game. Try and be the first to get a certain amount of money. You can choose what amount that is to vary the length of your game. Sabotage each sort of sandwiches as much as you can with attack condiments, and generally try and cause as much mayhem, sandwich related, as possible, and win.
What are the win cons, and how long does the game take?
Well, that depends massively on how much money you decide you want to play to. So we often recommend that if you want a quick, fun game for like 20 minutes, then you go for 30 quid. If you want like a more in-depth, longer, 45-minute to an hour-long game, 50, 70 quid.
It's the one who gets the most money wins at the end. Is that the idea? Yeah. I only thought you have to buy more. You have to buy more of the games to try and make it work. You want a longer game? Spend £70 on these things. And what have you got coming up in the next year?
Oh well, we currently are developing a board game. So we've done our first card game. This is our first, and we now want to try board games. So we're big board game geeks. We love them. So
we can't
tell you much about it. But
the same sort of theme?
No, not at all.
Theme, but it is equally sort of funny and daft.
I'll give you a clue. It involves lots of old people.
Octogenarians.
It's a good word. And the last question, important question we have: if your company was a mythological creature, what would it be? We can have one answer each if you want, or do you want a joint?
Yeah, I think it should be a hydra. We've got lots of different heads to our body. So we originally started in comics, so we make lots of graphic novels. We have our own quarterly magazine that we do. So Sandwich Masters is kind of like the third branch to Big Punch. We're doing podcasts, we're doing YouTube videos. So definitely I think a hydra.
But maybe the hydra, all of its heads are fists, because our logo is a big fist. So it's like a fist-headed hydra.
These are some good answers. Thank you very much.
No worries.
Pleasure chatting to you. Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye. Hi, here we are, and this is
Leeson George,
and you work for, or the designer, or
the designer and maker of Push It. Yeah. The tabletop skill game that you can take anywhere.
So, how long have you been making games for, or designing them for?
I've been designing them for like 3 years. This is my first game. I launched it on Kickstarter last year at this event. We got funded, and then this year I'm pushing this game, Push It.
It's all there. You've got all the words, everything you need to know. Why don't you tell us a little about your game?
Okay, so it's essentially like tabletop bull. So what you do is you flick, push, or chop your pucks closest to the jack, which starts at the centre of the table, with any technique you like, as long as your hand doesn't move very far. Oh, pucks go.
We all do this, don't worry.
Yeah. Oh, no.
It's all gone wrong.
It's all gone wrong. And you play in teams, and then at the end of the round, say it ended up like that, it'd be 1 point for blue. You can play in teams, so you can play opposite each other and then decide who goes next. And then you can take it anywhere. There's no table at all. All you really need.
Is there a minimum size, or is it any size you can get away with, you feel?
Any size. Well, with my tagline is infinite locations, ultimate skill. Good one. I came up with that.
I'm guessing not a sticky table though. That's probably the worst one we go.
Yeah, too much beer. Not so good. So you have to wipe it off. But yeah, so you can play anywhere. So we've got our nice little cards of like where you can play. Pubs are ideal. And it's a great drinking game, but you can play at home, cushions, on a newspaper if you really fancy. Anything.
Have you got anything coming up in the future?
In the future, I want more of this, more of Push It everywhere. That's the plan. That's the aim.
I like it. Okay, well here's the important one. If your company was a mythological creature, what would it be?
I would say a unicorn. Because it's pointy like my logo, and it's quite like Push It-y. So, you can lance. He would be good at lancing Push Its. I think it would, a unicorn has quite good accuracy with his horn.
It has to, otherwise it wouldn't have a horn.
Yeah.
These are the sort of questions you have to ask. I think that's a brilliant one. Thank you very much. Pleasure chatting to you. Have a good one. Bye. Hi, and here we are again, and we have
Henry from Grublin Games.
And what do you do?
We run Grublin Games. We make highly thematic strategic board games.
And what geeky games do you do for geeky gamers?
Okay, we've got 3 games. We've got Cornish Smuggler, which is a game about smuggling in Cornwall. We've got Waggle Dance, which is the winner of the UK Games Expo Best Family Game from last year. It's completely language independent. It's got loads and loads of dice, like hundreds, and it's all about bees, hence the name. We like naming games after beers, you're noticing. Our new game is called Perfect Crime, which is this one just here. Okay, and this is a game about bank robberies. So it's a co-op game for 2 to 5 players. You can play it as a co-op, you can play it as a semi-co-op, you can play it competitive. 2 to 5 players, and it's all about bank heists. Yeah.
Do you want to tell us? Is this the prototype of it at the moment?
Okay. Yep. So this is the prototype. This is not the production version. So we don't have chess pieces in the final version. Our meeples were a little bit late turning up from Germany, so that's that. So the idea is, we try to create something which is as representative as the final things we can, with the resources we have at the moment. The way it works, it works differently for 2 sides, so asymmetrical. So the bank player works in a kind of tower defense style. So they receive money each day, depending on what level of customers they have. They can spend that money on installing security, so these things like CCTV cameras, motion sensors, security doors that kind of slam down from the ceiling when the alarm goes off, laser tripwires, all this kind of thing. Or they can spend it on upgrading an aspect of their bank. So maybe a CCTV system, maybe they want to kit their guards out with some tasers, maybe they want to upgrade their vault door so it's got better locks, it's stronger, that kind of thing. All that kind of stuff. So their go is very, very quick. Get money, spend money. The Robbers plays very differently. So the Robbers works as a series of cards. They've got the crew cards, which there's a finite number, so there's only 9 in each set, and there's different sets. So the ones we're testing with here today are the corrupt cops, but we also have like ex-service guys, we've got mobsters, we've got plans for everything from ninjas to gentlemen thieves to cartels, all this kind of stuff, and we're inviting input on this. So this is kind of the whole point of this kind of stuff. So those guys, everyone kind of gets a crew member. They kit their crew members out with weapons, with equipment, with plans, with support items to help them generally. And the Robbers go is very simply either get money, which you get $2 for each crew member, or they get plan, they get cards, so 2 cards for each crew member, or they go into the bank. The co-op nature of it is going to the bank on a heist. So the co-op nature is that everything's democratized. So if you've got, say, 4 robbers working together, you can have one person getting money, one person getting plans, and 2 going into the bank. You can have all of them going concentrating on money because they need to get the kit, anything like that. So that's how that works. When you're going on a heist into the bank, you'll see we've got the blueprint boards over here, and the dotted lines on the boards are patrols that the guards will go through. The bank has rooms which they'll install, so the vault, CCTV system, and you can put more in there, like an armory, like an accountant's office, all this kind of stuff. And the guards will be assigned to patrols, they'll be moving around. The robbers will be, and they've got security kind of, if you imagine kind of security installed all like this, so no one knows what it is. But until the robbers actually go in there. So the bank's laid all this stuff secretly, it's all hidden. The robbers will go in, they'll move through all the rooms, they'll move through all the rooms. They'll be avoiding the guards because as they move through, if they're spotted, they'll generate suspicion. If they trigger security, they'll generate suspicion. And these are things that the bank can spend on either upgrading their kit or on triggering the alarm or sending their guards off to do something else. Their objective is obviously to get into the vault to steal the money. So they've hopefully equipped themselves with everything they need for this, from lockpicks to kind of like plasma cutters to anything, all that kind of stuff. And they'll go through the bank to break into the vault and do that. During that, while the bank is... the bank's got 2 states. It's either under attack or it's not under attack. So the guards are either on patrol or they're on alert. So while they're on patrol, they're forced to follow the patrol routes, and they're very slow and that kind of thing because that's their job. But once if they generate too much suspicion, then they'll trigger into an alert stage, and then they can have the same movements as the robbers. The police will be called, they'll turn up, all that kind of stuff, and chaos will ensue. So the robbers then go from a kind of carefully planned kind of stealth thing to a kind of quick push your luck, can we get away with this, can we not, that kind of stuff. Yeah, that kind of thing.
So I'm guessing the 2 objectives are is the criminals have to get away with as much money as possible, or?
Yeah, so the bank wins when it installs 4 rooms. They have a choice about the rooms, they all cost $5 each. The robbers win when they take $1 million out of the vault.
I like it. How many turns roughly does it take to play?
So it depends on how much planning there is. It takes around about 2 hours to play at the moment. We're certain we can get this down to 90 minutes. That's the goal, and this is all accessibility stuff. And we know that we've done that from Waggle Dance, and we've got prior with this. The thing that takes time is partly the heisting, which goes, and also the discussions that everyone has. So I don't really want to limit that because, like with an auction game, it takes ages. I don't want that. With a discussion game, you want it to be like that. So like Letters from Whitechapel, this kind of stuff. So in terms of how many turns, it depends on how much planning the robbers do, but the more time they take planning, the stronger and stronger the bank gets. So there's a real kind of imperative to go for it and get something happening.
I like it. It sounds good. It sounds like a really good game. Okay, can you tell us what you've got coming up in the next year?
I would like to, but I'm focusing just on Perfect Crime.
That's fine.
We're on Kickstarter right now. Looking like, well, we're funding very well. It's looking like we're going to fund. So we'll be releasing Perfect Crime Essen in October, and then straight after that, I'll be talking about new games.
I like it. That's a good thing to do. Okay, I've got a final question for you. Okay. If your company was a mythological creature, what would it be?
Easy. Okay. So we're a Cornish company. There's a Cornish sea beast called Mogar, which lives kind of in the depths of the sea, just off Nanquidno, this kind of thing. I think the company would be Mogar.
Sounds like a good answer. Thank you very much. It's been a time. Bye.